Hello, and today we are going to talk about our ViewSonic IFPs that you might have in your classroom. And in this short video, I'm going to show you just a small feature about what this board can do. So stick around because you might learn something new today. Hey everyone, my name is Dr. Josh Rayburn and I am super excited to be here with you today just to show you something small that you can do on this IFP. Because in reality, if we're not using these IFPs, interactive flat panels, for what they're designed to do, it's nothing more than just a fancy projector in our classroom. So now we're going to start talking about how do I take this IFP and transform it into something that is an instructional tool, not just something that can display my information from my computer. And to get started, we're going to start with our screen that looks like this. Now, let's be real, your screen might look slightly different than mine, and that's okay. Each board has a different layout, but majority of the boards are the same. So for our purposes today, we're going to just stick with one feature, and as we're going through, you'll be able to use this feature in all of your different scenarios. Now, to get started, you must know that there are two different sides to the IFP. There's what we call the Android side, and that's the side if I just come down here to the bottom and I press the home button takes me to a screen like this. Whereas if I use my inputs and I go to my computer input, that's going to take me over to my computer, and that's going to change my display and change what I'm seeing on my screen. So for today's purposes, we're going to stick with our Android side and we're going to stay on this screen because you can do a lot with just this screen alone. To get started, we're going to hit this whiteboard app here. Now your whiteboard app might look a little bit different than mine, and that's okay, but the features are pretty much going to be similar. On our pens, we have two different types of pens for our ViewSonic boards. We have the gray one and we have a black one. For our purposes today, we're going to focus on the black one, but you can do the same thing pretty much with the gray ones that you can do with the black ones. The only difference is the black one has two different types of tips where this one just has one tip. All right, to get started, we're going to use our black pen here, and we're going to use the thick end first. The thick side of standard is going to be black. It's going to be black, and it's going to be kind of a thick marker. But we can also flip our pen over, and we can have a totally different one. And this one defaults to red, and it's a thin red here. But today I'm going to show you how I can change my thin side to be just a different color. So with my thin side, I'm going to tap down here at the bottom and I'm going to tap the pen, and I'm going to change my color because you know what? Red might not be the best color for my students to see. And I'm also going to change the thickness. I can do that by just moving this dial up and down. So I want it to be just a little bit thicker than it normally is. And so now all I have to do is I have to set it and then forget it, because now every time I use this side, it's going to be my default color. So I can change my pen color really easily. Now, here's a quick tip for you. If you want to erase something, think about your whiteboard. When you're up at the whiteboard and you make a mistake, what's the first thing we do? We wipe it off with our hand, because we're like, I ain't got time for that eraser. Well, guess what? These boards do the same thing. All I have to do is wipe it off with my hand. The only difference is now I don't get residue on my hand from my dry erase marker. So you can easily do that. But here's the other thing. If you're like, you know, I really need to just delete everything, we have a trash can down here, and I click the eraser icon and I click the trash can right above that eraser icon, and now it's all gone. One of the nice features about using this one as an instructional tool and using the whiteboard over just a traditional whiteboard that you might have in your classroom is you have the ability to now share all of your notes that you have written on your board with your students through Google Classroom or Schoology. That's a quick tip for you. Check back next time for another quick tip on how to use this IFP.